Can Robert David Steele and his posse of 5 RVs be the movement that saves the world?
On the 4th of July with a cowboy mass at the dawn, that is going to be the beginning of the Second American Revolution, in my humble opinion.
No matter where you look for alternative news, you see this.
Everything that you've been witnessing, everything that you see is part of the sting operation.
And then there's this.
That the only solution here is going to end up being the military.
And then a very common one, patriots are in control.
The patriots are in control of this. They think they're in a position of strength, but actually, you're going to see the tables turn on them. And in the end, they won't know what hit them.
And then, one of my favorite, the percentage of people awake.
I mean, how much longer is this pantomime going to go, Charlie? Because I'm getting really tired.
For me, we're very, very close to the end of it. Very, very close. From my understanding, we're at 56% of the world being awakened, and they needed 60% as a tipping point. That's what I've been told.
I heard 107 say that it needs to be 81% for America.
No.
High.
All this is just repeated over and over again and really just made to look like the latest news, when really they're just taking an event that is currently happening and then reframing it with one of those popular lenses that they had in the past. This happens over and over and over again. There's always some sort of code, and it always ends up being, it has to be the military, the patriots are in control, waiting on percentage of people to be awake, and looking at it from all these different angles. But they all come out with the same information and the same idea, so that no matter what events are happening in the news, it looks like things are happening, yet amongst all this, even loose dates, let's say the 107 April bet, even that comes and goes. And guess what? Nothing has really changed. Or has it? A group of people, along with Robert David Steele, are in 5 RVs, and they're touring the country, and this is how it's going so far.
Even though mainstream media is assiduously not reporting on this tour, people are honking and waving as they pass these 5 buses on the road. People are, at the end of every single event, people are hugging each other, Charlie. They are hugging each other.
But obviously, it takes time because, as you notice, there's a lot of people that are reluctant to look beyond the veil.
I pointed out to so many people, it's very easy to be conned, but it's very hard to be convinced that you've been conned.
Yeah.
And because you're dealing with pride. And America's a very proud country.
Of course, this is all by design, with a process that's actually started with our education system and continued within entertainment and media itself.
The Rockefellers and the Morgans took over the public education system in the 1920s. The purpose was to dumb everybody down and turn them into servile factory workers.
Now, what I love about Robert David Steele and his group and the things that they're doing is they're going county by county. And guess what? They're making a difference. Check this out.
I have shared story after story after story with Robert and many people across the country, how sheriffs have stood against tyranny in peaceful and effective manners. And the way that sheriffs are now standing across this country has become a light on the hill for all of us to follow. And we've got to do this, and we've got to take it to the streets.
By reigniting people's involvement in the Constitution and defending it. Now, you might live in an area where people aren't necessarily constitutionally minded, so to speak. And so in that instance, you're going to have a situation where either the sheriff who's in your local area isn't going to necessarily remember the oath that he swore to defend the Constitution when he was actually signed in. And he might actually be more beholden with one way or another to a mayor or someone else in power, when in fact he wields his own power.
The sheriff is not under any contract. He reports to no other politician or political body or subcommittee. He reports only to the people, and every 4 years, the people decide if they're going to keep this person in office. And that's exactly why we call ourselves a constitutional republic. A republic is where the people choose our representatives and our employees in government. The chief of police, they bypass that.
Either way, you might not be in a place where that might be something that you could try. But there's still a possibility of reaching out to other people to see if that's actually true, or it's just a popular conception about the area you're in. It's surprising to see that there are some places where you'd think you wouldn't have a constitutional sheriff, when in fact, when you dig a little bit deeper, the sheriff themselves are actually open to that. And it's a matter of galvanizing a few citizenry to support and defend the Constitution. Because a lot of people are tired of these random mandates and rules that really run roughshod over our constitutional rights. It's actually the citizens that give the government its power, not the other way around.
The extreme left, the communists, the deep state, the Wall Street 1% criminals and terrorists, terrorists, not just traitors, they have defined citizenship as how the government gives us rights. That's completely wrong.
If this past year is a reminder of anything, it's our waning trust in the government.
Frank, how many times have I told you you cannot trust the system? I told you when you're in the system, they switch the flip and you're done. Man, satellites, cell phones, chips, net, the web, the dentist.
Although most of the current news really isn't news at all, I consider what Sheriff Mack's doing and Robert David Steele and his posse of 5 RVs, what they're doing at a county-by-county level is effectively making change. And there's a link in the description if you want to go and actually check out how you could be part of that process. Over time, by connecting to each other and enacting this process, I think we reignite what it means to actually be free as a society, free of mandates or things that are really unconstitutional. We have laws in place to basically protect our rights, but in fact, culturally or mandates make those laws actually go away. But the trick is, because you do it voluntarily on your part. Someone says, oh, have you, followed along with what everybody else is doing? By HIPAA rules, you don't even have to answer that. It's like saying, asking someone if they have herpes or asking someone about their sensitive medical information. You're just not going to do it. People aren't going to even ask you how much you make. Why then do they think it's okay to ask about a personal thing between you and your doctor? I'm not sure, but defending the Constitution and our rights has to do not only with what Sheriff Mack's doing, but also culturally to bring back this idea of protection of information. Like, no, corporations don't have right to my information. No, you don't have a right to ask about something that's medically oriented. If I don't want to give you that information, I don't need to, and I shouldn't need to in a cultural setting. Or to walk into a store and to have someone force you to reveal that information just to buy something is totally ridiculous. So this is one way to bring back protection of your information and reignite what it means to be free and have a constitution with some teeth. And by teeth, I mean people banded together, ready to protect it at a very physical level.
Sheriff Mack represents elected sheriffs deputizing armed, engaged citizens to push back against the abuse of power.
This isn't something where it's like, okay, we'll do this or that. No, it's actually banding together and saying, no, federal people can't come in and force something that's unconstitutional. And have it be a level where people are ready to defend that. That's what this is going to. It's not about the military being in control. It's about the citizenry actually being in control. And that's what Sheriff Mack is doing. Check out the link below and you'll see some ways to actually get involved and bring back our freedoms as they were originally envisioned in 1776. If you found this video helpful, not only give it a like, but share it with somebody who you think would find it helpful. Thanks a lot for watching, and I'll see you next time.
So, I want you to get up now. I want all of you to get up out of your chairs. I want you to get up right now and go to the window, open it, and stick your head out and yell, I'm as mad as hell, and I'm not gonna take this anymore!